Bismillah, we are live. Assalamualaikum everyone. Today, our Engineer Series 2020 is a collaboration with Young Genzari Engineers Network, GEN, Tertiary Career Conference, TCC, and Association of Muslim Professional, AMP. We are honored to have Mr. Norshaidi, Leman, for our Engineer Series. Today, the hosting will be done by Fidaus and Aidil.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum. Mr. Norshaidi. Okay, so we would like to tell our viewers the short brief. What have you done? What is your background for the past year as an engineer? And you basically started off in Singapore General Aviation as an apprentice, and you take up Singapore Polytechnic courses. And back then, you also continue working in the hangar and workshop. So upon completion of the apprenticeship, you promoted to technician and get to learn with your seniors on helicopter and aircraft component. So also in 1988, you went to Texas for further training in helicopter repairs. And after that, you received the CAAS approval and was given to lead the CAAS Authority Propeller Division. So back then, this is under the LE license scheme, or it's actually a different?
It's a different under the company scheme. After that, is it?
Okay.
Because I understand now, especially the latest ruling LAME, you have to be a graduate. You need to have all that. But I'm not a graduate. But I started off from being trained as a technician. Okay, back then in 1980, it's a tough world.
Yeah, I understand.
Aerospace is not an old thing; it's a new thing, especially for young men like me. I happen to be living in the aerospace area in the Seletar Airport. So that's how I end up looking for a job which is near my place for convenience sake.
Understand.
And then I started off from there with my interest. And also my dad is also working in the aerospace also at that time. So it prompted me to start off my career with aerospace, knowing that I have someone who knows about aeroplane. But at that time, I was more not in the hangar. We have our company, Singapore General Aviation, have the hangar, have a workshop. So I'm seconded to the workshop since day one.
Okay.
So most of my career, all my career life is always in a workshop environment.
Understand.
So there are technicians, yes, we are called at that time technicians, but then we are also called as a workshop technician, not a technician on the line technician. When you do hangar services, you do line services, you are also a technician, but you are considered as a line technician. But when you are working in the workshop, you are considered as a workshop technician. It's a two different categories there.
Okay, that explains the different category for your field.
Technicians, yes.
Yeah. So to add on, you are currently working in Safran Landing System as a warranty and documentation engineer.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm not wrong, Safran Landing System is near to at Loyang Point area near to Masjid Al Istighfar. If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Over the years, from Singapore General Aviation, the company has been taken over by a lot of companies. Almost, I think, about 9 companies. Okay. It started off from an Australian company. It moved on to a British company. Then it moved on to a US company. Then back to French, which is Safran now. I've been working with almost 9 different MD. And most of them are European. Their style is different. Singaporean, we now currently have a local MD. So it's is a different way of doing things now. So a challenge, yes, but we have to be strong. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to work with our colleagues, especially with our subordinates, our technicians. Our technicians now currently comprise of multinational. We have from India, we have from Indonesia, we have from Philippines, we have from locals, Singaporean. So kind of a good mix of people working for the company. And before, as I mentioned, I was in Propeller. I was doing more on gearboxes, propellers, small hydraulic item. But as the company move on, they concentrate more on landing gears. So I have to shift my experience from a propeller-based, gearbox-based, transmission-based to a landing gear. So it's a different scenario at all.
Yeah, I would say that it's a very different field and domain of knowledge altogether, because
yes.
one, you are dealing with like what you said previously, you were dealing with transmissions, gears, and all this, and then in landing systems, it's more towards the pneumatics, the automation and control as well of the landing gears.
If I may add, it helps when you have a wide range of experience, especially in different component, different stage of component repair. It helps to give you a proper perspective in looking at the problem, looking at the complaint of customers, and trying to meet with their requirement, which is ultimately they are paying our pay to me. Our customers are the one who are paying our pay. So we are providing service as much as we can to win their trust, and hopefully we will gain their trust and will gain their contracts. So from there on, from those times when I was doing propellers and transmission, both for helicopter component and for aircraft component, which is the old aircraft, the Fokker 50, Fokker 27, H748, discount, I have to go to travel also at the same time, because we have complained or we have queries from customers how to manage or to prepare propeller which is out of balance, transmission which is not working. So I have to go on site, which is also an eye-opener. Because you are working not under a controlled environment. You are not working in a workshop. You are working in the airfield, and you have to make do with whatever you have.
Right.
You have to improvise.
Okay. What was the? Do you have any stories about the best or the best or the worst case of improvisation that you had to make on the field itself, where you didn't have the tools that you had in your workshop?
Okay. At one time, I think sometime in year 2005, I was asked to go to Indonesia in one of the PT Pelita Airbus in Pondok Indah. I think I forgot the name actually, but it's a big airfield. It's a private airfield where it's owned by the oil refinery company PT Pelita. So it's a huge airport. Very basic amenities. To do the propeller disassembly is okay. I can do it on the table, on the working bench. But once we try to assemble with the new spares, with the new seals and all that, we do all the final stock of the item, when we want to do the final check, which is the balancing of the propeller. I have to turn over the propeller by right using my balancing tool that I bring along, But we don't have the stand where we can do the normal way in the workshop to turn over the propeller. The propeller is quite wide, 15 feet from end to end. So it takes about at least 8 people to turn it over. And I have to use to use a big tire, big lorry tire, to support the propeller, not to damage the propeller actually.
Yes.
So the best option is having a big tire, turn it around and balance it.
Yeah.
Lift it up.
That's a great story of improvisation, because at the same time you also have to improvise, and at the same time you also have to manage the customer's expectations that you are doing things in the right way.
Yes. To their satisfaction, you must explain to them why you are doing it this way.
Yes.
And they did ask, if you are doing it in a workshop, how do you do it? I say we have all the tools to hold the propeller and turn it over, you know. But in the field, it's just not possible.
Yes. Yeah.
We are running against time. You know, aircraft, customers' aircraft, they are flying to carry passengers. They have schedules to meet. They can't afford to park their aircraft for more than 1 day or 2 days. So it is very important for them to keep to their time limit. So most of the time, with all that experience, with all that stories, I think basically the most toughest one to me is not to train technicians, engineers over there, but the people that I find tough is training for Japanese customers.
Japanese customers. In what way? Is it in terms of their expectations that the requirements that they expect from a job?
Yes. They will ask you question not in the manual, out of the manual. They want to know whether you have enough knowledge on their product.
MashaAllah.
So,
yeah.
It's a very, very eye-opener, and sometimes you stammer, you know, because Japanese, you don't fool around with them. They know their job well. So we have to give them a probable answer which they can accept. Why is it this? Why is it this way? Why don't we do it this way? You know, we have to tell them that there are limitations what we can do.
I see.
I agree with you, because I mean I'm actually from aviation sector itself. So I have a customer from ANA, Nippon Airways. Yeah. So
oh my.
Yeah. So I face actually a bit of similar type of question that they ask.
Yes.
Maybe doing audits or those kind of things, especially due to their most of their parts. Yeah. So they are very particular about all the small details. And even if, let's say, you are saying about workshop environment, if your workshop doesn't follow like, for example, the Kaizen, 6S, they will be, they are particular about that, because when they do things, they want it to be proper and neat and tidy.
Right, true. So that is why presently we all have equipped ourselves with all the Kaizen project and with all the 6S, you know. We try to meet with all the requirement, so to speak. You know, it's not easy because China will have a different perception. Okay, UK will have a different perception. Authorities, I'm talking about authorities. We have audits, as you know. Firdaus, is it?
Yeah.
Also from the aviation, CAAS will have a different perspective also. So to meet each and everyone perspective, you have to cover a lot of areas. You know, you have TQM, you have TPM, you have, you know, you have to make your tools have all with all the serial numbers, all the data available. You know, you have to have all the checks done every month, every week. You know, you have to have a clear signage. You know, when to check the item, when it's due, when it's not. You have to assign people to take care of all these machineries. So it's moving around as you are doing your work. You still have to maintain your inventories so that they are serviceable, they are acceptable, you know, to the authorities. They can come down anytime they want, but especially now, most of them they cancel. I think because of the COVID. So we are quite lucky. So we have time to brush up, you know, because there's a lot of areas where you have to cover.
Downtime right now,
Yeah, down.
Yes. Okay. So, Mr. Encik Norshaidi, it seems that you've had a long, illustrious career. One thing is that you've worked in Singapore, and you've also worked overseas as well.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of experiences that you would like to share with the young engineers who are listening in today. But
Yes.
if you could distill, or if you could summarize some of the key lessons, what are some of like the three most valuable lessons that you've learned from your engineering journey so far?
Well, from my simple approach in working, to be truthful, I believe in every worker, whether they are student, intern, you know, a, a normal technician who was starting off their new career, first, please have the right attitude. Don't think that we just, oh, I have Singapore Poly, I have degree, I have a diploma, I can make it. No, you have to go through the test. Time is the best tester for you. You give yourself time, believe in yourself, live in humility, win people's trust, win your superiors' trust. You work diligently, believe in yourself, try to be happy, try to make others happy. As working colleague, you have to cooperate with each other. You cannot be arguing, and then we have different opinion. Definitely, it's okay. It's not a sin to have a different opinion. You know,
Yes,
okay.
that's correct. Yeah.
Life goes on. Okay, you say this way, I say this way. Then let's see. Let's have a win-win situation. Let's do it. Compromise
Mhm.
and move on. Cooperation, learning with others, because we have to learn with others. We thought whatever we learn in school can help us. Yes, it helps at a certain level.
Mhm.
But as you move on, it's a working world is a totally different world from a schooling time when you go to school. So it teaches you how to work, especially with others.
Mhm.
Understand.
Learn how to work with others.
Learn how
Then
to work with others. Try to make a happy working environment.
yes, you have to make yourself happy first.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the number one.
That's
If
number
not,
one.
if not, you'll be dragging your feet to go to work every day. I
Yes,
mean, you need to have the right mindset
yes.
before you start.
Because one thing you for sure you have to prepare that not everybody will like you.
Yes.
Okay, we are the minority, so we have to behave accordingly. Wherever we can keep away, all right, okay, no loss. I move on. I still work. I stayed in one organization from the start to on day one up to today. Uh, I think I have the right to say patience. You know, is the key word also. You have to have patience. There are challenges along the way. Yes, oh my, ya Allah, I say the challenges are huge, but your intention of going into the working world is not only for
Yes.
yourself,
Mhm.
it's for your future.
Yeah.
For your future
For our
prospects,
families as well.
for your family. So if
Mhm.
once you move on with the right food, then inshallah, you know, you will have that patience to help you. It's a very trying world. You have people trying to spoil the market.
Mhm.
Why are you working so hard? No, this is what we are supposed to do. We are paid to work
Right.
diligently and believe in yourself and work hard. Inshallah, I think in time, on Asri, Demi Master, all of us, once we are given time, the opportunity will come and you will reap the benefit. But you have to win the trust of people,
Mhm.
the people around you.
Yes.
If you don't have that trust
Yeah.
with your management, with your superior, I think we can move on.
Yeah, that's right.
You will always be on your back.
Yeah,
On your toes. Yeah.
Uh,
As long if you show that you can do good work, you win their trust, and then when you win their trust, you are free to move forward with the rest of your work lah. Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Okay, Norshaidi, maybe for the young engineers, could you also help us walk through what is the day in the life of engineers such as yourself? Like when you come to work, then who approaches you for help? what are the tasks that you have to complete for the day?
Well, every day when you go to work, yes, there's always worries where you will get queries from customers.
Yes.
Queries from customers, especially when they want to claim warranty, they want to claim why is this SD not done, this modification, why is it not carried out? You have to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you have to know when the item come in, I have to check all the data. Now, when the item come in, what was being reported, what was missing, what was broken, what was damaged, all that.
Right.
So you have to see what was done on with the job.
Yeah.
See,
So
you have to be transparent
it
because
seems like it seems like a very customer service oriented mindset
yes,
that
yes.
you have to adopt, even though that your work is even though your main work is as a technician, you have to have this technical knowledge of how your different components work, but at the same time it's also about managing customer expectations, how they view your work and how they view your company as well.
Yes, because I call it VOC, the voice of the customer. It's very
Ah,
important. You know,
yeah.
if the customer is not happy with your explanation, with your work, that's why I said you build up your relationship.
Uh,
As and when you can help the customer from them early, say, hey, look, your item is okay. Aircraft parts, there are some life limited parts where they can only be used for maybe 20,000 hours landing, 30,000 landing. And once you know that this item is almost reaching their aging period, you have to prompt the customer, look, your item is the remaining life limited is only 2,000. It does not last 1 TBO times before overhaul. So you have to prompt them, let them know that, do you want to proceed, carry on using this part, which is still good, but their life is limited. Or you want us to change for you. So you have to upfront inform them.
Yeah.
So from there, as I said, you have to build up the relationship, with the customers, which is, at the end, once they trust you, a lot of work can be done together. As I said, trust in any friendship, marriage, working life, work on the trust.
Sure.
You will go far.
It's a good advice, not just for work, but for life as well. Inshallah.
Yeah. So I have a question. Nowadays, we have a situation in the aviation industry where degree students or those who have already graduated with a master or even a diploma, they wouldn't want to be a technician as they think it's a step down, because usually technician is for higher NITEC or perhaps now is diploma holders. So they think that engineer is a way to go. But in this kind of situation, and there's influx of graduates in the aviation sector, there's less chance of becoming an engineer than technician. So what is your advice to the graduates out there?
Well, especially now, it is also more important that graduates who graduates from aerospace studies, it's natural that we want to aspire to be an engineer, but you have to start somewhere. In this case, my advice is you have to be more diversity, adaptability. You have to adapt to the time. It's not your choice. Yes, the requirement is for you to study, attain the highest level of education as you can, and hope for the best. But the situation does not. We are not in control of the situation, especially now. Even as I would say, technician post is not easy to get now. In this situation, the current technician, the engineers are also in the sky, in the blue, no? It doesn't know whether we are still will be working or not. Nobody's know. Only the top management will know whether we will still be around or not. So for those who are currently working, they are just hoping that yes, we can sustain the current flow, sustain current job, we have enough job to move on to the next level. But for the new intake, for the new student, you have to diversify yourself, lower down the expectation. You know, I'm sorry to say this, but you have to lower down your expectation, be more diverse in your approach in what kind of job you want to do. Yes, you are trained in aerospace, but you can go to health industry, you can go to finance, if you can, you know, try out, you know, be diversified. Don't focus on one areas of specialization. You know, you have to be specialized, or you have to attain a lot of other experience. I'm not saying that other sectors are bad, but they are also good sectors also. Health, education, health ministry, uh, finance companies, you know, security like data security, cyber security. You know, you can try to start off somewhere. We have to start a data because of the situation is totally different, unprecedented. It never happens. You know, probably for the next 100 years, we are going through it different. You know, my time, there's a lot of work. You can choose your work, and you can stay in your job. You can say iron rice bowl, so to speak. You can work in the shipyard, you can work in the police force, you can work in the army, right? So you are safe once you work in the HDB, the government. But then over the years, no job is safe. Not even in the government job. Not even in the government sector. Police can also just retire off.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a different scenario now. So I hope the new graduates lower down the expectation, you know, because currently it is not viable to think of, oh, I still want to wait for an opportunity. For those who are in the aerospace, they will want to stick to aerospace. But for those who are in oil and gas, they want to stick in oil and gas, you know, which also are badly affected, you know, construction badly affected. So find a greener pasture, start off somewhere, just to start off. Don't laid back, you know, oh, I have my degree, I have my master's, I have my PhD, I can do a lot of things. Yes, you can do a lot of things, but you need you need two hands to make a clap. You alone, you can't do anything. You just
to
win.
find the right environment for yourself.
Yes. Just move on. Do something. Get employed in anything. Start off. And from there, you try to gain experience, and also you also will gain opportunity. Allah will open the opportunity if we open ourselves up. Don't close yourself to that predicament. Never close that.
Okay.
Right?
So here you sharing with us your quote that be thankful with what we have first, but continue to work for better things in life. What is the message do you like to bring to the viewers?
Well, I'm a firm believer of kita bersyukur dulu before we asking a lot of things. As a graduate, syukur Alhamdulillah, you are a graduate. I attain the masters, I attain the PhD, Alhamdulillah. You know, Ya Allah, thank you. With that, I can move on. Yes, move on. But don't expect straight away you are employed. No, it doesn't work that way now. Especially now, as I'm saying. I worry about the new generation. They have to be tough in their challenges. You have to toughen yourself. Don't soften your approach. You have to be tough. I'm not saying the world is a nice place just easily. It's always a challenge. You know, start off a work is a challenge. Start off a family is a challenge. Once you achieve the work, you attain the work, you attain the family, to maintain also is a challenge.
It's a challenge, yes.
It's always a challenge. Even as like myself, I grow old, it's always a challenge. You know, how to maintain cohesion among your family members. It's a challenge every day. So it's not new. It's not something that is not being worn, but be open, be happy, syukur alhamdulillah first, that whatever we are still around, you still are able to move on. But start off somewhere. Anything. Do something that is, as long as you can do it the halal way, carry on.
Okay.
That's very important. Don't give up. Never give up, because life is always challenge. That's why I said syukur is important for me.
Yes.
Syukur is important, because once you syukur, and then you sabar, right? It's like you are having two wings behind you. You with sabar and syukur, you can fly. Without wings, you can't go anywhere.
There's a very nice analogy.
It's a simple analogy.
Because once you have these two, things, inshallah,
Inshallah.
God will take you further.
Yeah. It's very important for new people, young people, young couples. I see. I'm happy when they start off with marriage, with new job, But I want them to be tough, meaning they know what they are getting into. They work to their best, They try to work with their colleagues, because a lot of us sometimes, when we are able to study, we are able to digest whatever knowledge in school. But once you are free to roam to the world, you can't mix around. You can't work together. It's a problem.
Meaning, what do you mean by that? Like, once somebody has entered into the working world, then they have a bit of problem mixing around with the colleagues.
When you are a student, the only challenge is the marks. You want to attain the marks, right?
Yes.
I must get good grades. I must get good result to attain to the next level. But when you go to the working world, you cannot make your colleague or your supervisors or your friends around you feel unsafe because of your action. You feel you are the best. Then word does not count. It has action.
Yes.
I said you need two to make a clap.
Yeah. That's true. Yes.
We have education, yes, good, but you must also have the right attitude.
Yes.
Which the school doesn't teach you.
Yeah, it's very true also. Like, in our lines of work, we can come across people who are very fixed on their opinion, that they don't tend to listen to other people's opinions as well, or they don't address your concerns. They just want, okay, this is how I think and it is correct, so I don't want to convince you otherwise. If you don't think the same as me, that means there's something wrong with you. So we don't want to be that kind of person. We want to be the kind of person that's always listening, always trying to understand the other person's point of view as well.
Main thing is we have to learn to work with others. We have different opinions, as I said. We will have always, every day, even if we are our family members, we have different opinions. But that is not sin. Your mindset, you must have the right attitude. Once you have the right attitude, okay, you have this one, I see it this way, why not we do it this way? It's a compromisation of both views. Can we do it this way? If the other party still adamantly want to stick to his, okay, let's try it out. No harm. I've given you my thoughts, and you still want to do it your way. All right, I follow. We have to give people a chance to prove.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We may not always be correct. That's the thing. We learn from mistakes. I learn from failures also. I'm not always successful. I'm not always right. I learn from others also. I learn from my peers. I learn from my supervisors. I learn from my seniors. We are all learning every day. Alhamdulillah, with the right mindset, attitude, I think everyone can move on. Working happily, living happily, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. Okay. So, Firdaus, do you have any questions for Mr. Norshaidi?
Okay, sure. So, what are the advice that you can give to the young professionals, students in aviation who are affected in this COVID-19 situation? As you know, aviation sector affected badly.
Yes.
Then what are the things that they can do during this point of time? So when the when everything goes well, the next few years, they can excel in this sector.
Right. In this difficult time, I think it takes guts to move on to other areas of opportunity. You know, opportunity doesn't come always, but in difficult time, there are also opportunities if our mindset are ready to meet other challenges. You know, as I said earlier, just because we are trained as a technical person, uh, you may have to go into an admin job, which is entirely a totally different perspective from what you are trained with. But all these are having the same mindset, meaning you can still be productive, you can still contribute to the society, to the company, especially with the correct mindset, the correct attitude, start off somewhere just for the sake of starting off. Because you have to have a datum, a starting point. Not necessarily in the field of your expertise. You may start off with a different field. Then when times come back, good times are back, you may want to switch. It's okay. Never give up. Start off somewhere. You cannot just wait until the opportunity comes, because this pandemic may last you 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Nobody knows.
Longer.
Especially aviation, it will take longer time. It's not easy because as you can see now, 96%, 95% of airlines are not flying. It's almost zero. Changi Airport is almost non-performing. So we have to move on other things. Be prepared. Prepare yourself and move on to other things. There's always other areas where we can start off. Maybe not to our expectation, yes, but open up yourself. Trust in Allah. That Allah will give us the rizki.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
It is a last question that I would like to add. So far, in the in our industry itself, not many people knows about landing gear system. I mean, most people, most graduates in school, they will usually apply jobs like airframe jobs, like LAE, licensed aircraft engineer, or technical service engineer, in the power plant sector as an engine specialist. But we have less people applying in the landing gear system. So if I'm not wrong, we only have in Singapore, we have Safan, Liebherr, is it? If I'm not wrong?
Liebherr.
Liebherr. And I think there's a new company that's just started off in the last few years, which is TP Aerospace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So other than that, not many people knows about this area. So maybe you can elaborate more about the landing gear system so that the students out there will be interested in this.
Okay, landing gear system is one of the major parts of the aircraft. It's just like the propeller. If the propeller type aircraft, you need the propeller to fly the aircraft. You need the engines. It's also a major part of the aircraft. You need the wings, the structure. The landing gear is also a major part. I say major part because the aircraft doesn't land on sea. They have to land on the airfield. So you need a landing gear to place the wheels and the brakes. Sometimes companies they are doing the landing gear, but not like us. We don't do the wheels and brake. We just do the landing gear, the structure itself, the shock absorber, the retract actuator, the pitch streamer, the main body. We are also the manufacturer of Airbus A380 nose landing gear, which is our product. Our product also runs on Airbuses and Boeing's aircraft. They use Messier Bugatti landing gears. So landing gear, yes, is a strictly specialized area where you have to concentrate on the performance of the aircraft. The aircraft, it carries the aircraft weight during takeoff and landing, especially landings. So it takes a lot of weight, it takes a lot of pressure. You have to really scrutinize every part of the landing gear to ensure that it performs to what it is supposed to be. For landing gear, as Firdaus has mentioned, is a specialized thing. It's not many companies are doing it. For engines, yes, I think Pratt Whitney, Rolls-Royce are doing it. They kind of have that market. But our market is more on now landing gears. So for student, basically, it's not a special thing, too specialized. As long as you have interest in hydraulics, you have interest in dimensional inspection, in visual inspection, how hydraulics works, how things works, how things were fitted together the right way. And because the left-hand landing gear and the right-hand landing gear is a bit different in their configuration. Engines, yes, you have the left engine, the right engine, so they may have a slight different configuration. Likewise, the landing gear also, the nose will have a different configuration. There are a lot more other tests that we have to do, rigging tests, how they move back into their apartment and then go down. They have to be synchronized. So all this you have to check. So landing gear, likewise engines, they are specialized. But basically, for landing gears, they are more on hydraulics terms and how you do the proper check. That's how we do it in Safran. Inshallah, I think for new people coming in, I hope industry will pick up, and then inshallah, I think the graduates will have opportunity to see how landing gear works. But at the moment, most of the company are slowing down, because of the situation. I think let's for the new student, for the new intakes, have a fresh look, believe in Allah, move on, do other things first. You may want to go into finance, or you want to go to health services, where the opportunity is still there. Never give up. You can always go back to your love in hydraulics, in love in aerospace. There's always time to come back. Young, always remember you are young.
Have a whole lifetime ahead of you.
Yes. You start off, nothing is easy. You don't have to start off early. You may start in your mid-career. Nobody knows. I won't know. But I believe that if you have trust in Allah, you believe that rezeki is Allah will give, move on. On other things, other opportunity, grab. Just go on. Inshallah. When these times go over, you can start all over again.
Sure.
So
yeah. Encik Shaidi, thank you for your really valuable advice, experience, and stories. So from today's lesson, we learn a lot of things from you. One thing we learned that is both you can be like in a technical role, but then there are still all these human factors, human elements that you have to take care of, that you have to manage. We also learned that different people, different customers have different expectations of you, and because of that you really have to be very competent on your work. You cannot take a laid back approach. And thirdly as well, your advice about how to deal with the pandemic, this once in a lifetime pandemic as well. I think it's very encouraging that we need to diversify, we need to broaden our perspectives, and inshallah, even if now doesn't seem to be the right opportunity for us to pursue our passion, or what you said is correct. Get the datum, get the reference baseline there, to how to deal with working with people, how to deal with all these administrative things, how to deal with working with different departments, for example. And inshallah, once you've built up your foundation, there can be a mid-career switch for you. We leave it to God, we leave it to Allah to determine our rezeki for us. The best that we can do is do our best and
Yeah.
apply ourselves. Yeah. So thank you so
Inshallah.
much for today's session. It was really enlightening. Yeah. Thank you for bringing us through a day in your line of work. And on behalf of Fidaus and Jazari Engineers Network, Tertiary Career Conference, as well as the Association of Muslim Professionals Singapore, I'd like to thank you for joining our sessions on an engineer story today. Really thank you. Thank you. And I hope you have you had a great time with us, and I hope you have a great evening ahead, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you for inviting me. Alhamdulillah. I hope that for everyone, good times will come, inshallah. Trust in Allah, inshallah.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, Shadi.
Right.
So for all you, thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, guys. So if you enjoyed that interview with Encik Shaidi, please like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel, as well as follow our Instagram page. All right. So that's all from us today. Hope you guys have a great evening, a great Sunday ahead. All right. Thank you.
Bye.